Let me tell you something. I just got through talking and not recording a cotton picking thing. But I'm going to just rewind. Let me tell you. I was sitting up here complaining that I didn't want to hold my microphone. I was going to sit it on my laptop, then it fell. You know, you didn't see any of this, but I'm going to tell you. I don't know what you're going to do with the information. I hope it makes you laugh, but, you know, I'm going to just spill the beans on myself because I just kept talking probably about a good 5 minutes until I realized I was not recording anything. But long time no see. How are you guys doing out there? First I'm gonna get this out the way because I forget to do this I forgot to do this the last few times that I had recorded. The hype feature now is on the YouTube video, so please hype my videos up. I don't think people are going to, like my videos because I have a different perspective on these episodes from. But I think they're pretty darn accurate because um some of the things I've realized, I have my notes too ready, that I realized that was said in this episode of 9 have been scattered in my, videos that, you know, may have or may not have been watched. I know the last few in episode in season 4 wasn't I think 3 picked up more traction than 4. I think so. I think it did cuz I started on 3. And I decided to do it because, I was watching everybody else's commentary, which I have been watching everybody else's commentary on this season too. I just haven't been saying anything because I don't agree with it. And then, like I said, everybody has an opinion. I wanted my channel to be where if you have a different opinion, if you have opinion that someone doesn't agree with, you can discuss it. And that's the thing, I've been getting into internet beefs because people, you can agree to disagree without it going too far. And a lot of times my internet beefs go too far. I'm not going, hold anybody on there. My little internet beefs get too far. And I'm not telling you, I see the little sweat right here. So I'm sweating in my apartment. So that is the thing. I want to welcome talk, but I want it to be respectful because everybody is not going to agree with you. They're not. Nobody is not going to agree with me all the time. And that's fine. I mean, I could care less, to be honest. But, when it's coming to simple things like this, it shouldn't matter. But, it should matter when it comes to important things on, the way we live. That I do think, a consensus or a middle ground can come where it doesn't, hurt people. That is something different. But when we talk about these little shows or anything like that, it's not that serious to me. It's just not. It's really not. And I'm not saying I've been through that situation when it comes down to shows, but I have been discussing on social issues, and it has gotten to the point where it'll get a little bit thick. But however, I came to talk about episode 9, and I have my little notes ready. Click, subscribe, get the little gist of it. Comment in my little comment section about what you agree with and what you don't agree with, and excuse me, why you think a certain way. But there are some things that in episode 8 too that explains a lot because when um I know I'm gonna try to go back and put my little pictures up too in the you know video. But one thing that was addressed to me was when the man in yellow met Tabitha at the RV. That's the first thing I want to address. When he told her that, oh, you don't remember this part, and he didn't want to kill her. I got suspicious something wasn't right in episode 1 when him and Sophia hugged, that embrace she gave her. it was kind of strange. So he remembers, and I love to know what their dynamic was. He remembers her more than she remembers him at this point. And it kind of ticked me off. It didn't kind of. It ticked me off when they were at the table, which I'm gonna tap on that too. I'm gonna try to get back in line and in order so I can get my thoughts out. When they were at the table and Julie's trying to question Tabitha about how things work when you really don't know how things work. This is the same thing with Acosta trying to say Boyd doesn't know what he's doing. And you don't either, and you just got there in 2 seconds. I don't know why you thought you were the Holy Grail and you just got there. You think you you were gonna like drive and speed through the town and hit a vortex and you were gonna end up back home? Like none of that made sense. And the only reason, and I'm gonna tap on this again, Tabitha ended up where she was when she got pushed out that lighthouse. If it wasn't for her having Victor's lunchbox, then she wouldn't have went where there's no telling. She could have like died. I'm sorry, she could not. Something could have happened where she wouldn't be there anymore. I'm sorry, I forgot the rules of YouTube. But if he did not push her out, they could have found her something else could have, made her no longer available to breathe if it wasn't for that lunchbox. If he didn't push her out and she didn't have that conduit for that lunchbox, she would not have ended up um at Victor's dad's doorstep. And I'm just so sorry. And the thing about it is, another thing I'm gonna touch on before I get into my little notes is a lot of people are theorizing a lot of things. The theories, and we're getting to the last episode. The theories to me that people are coming up with still they're moving away from what the writers told. They said it wasn't a social experiment. They said it wasn't a dream. People are going back to that. And I said I did watch people's, thoughts and theories, but it's still like they're saying that the show is not telling them nothing, not telling them anything, but the show is telling you something. You just have to pay attention and not look for what you want to look for. You have to look for the signs. Like you have to, and I don't know how to explain it to someone else, for them to understand what those signs for, because like I said, I noticed since COVID that people really don't watch TV. They really don't. And most of the time everything is written the same. You just see somebody else's perspective on how that um plot is. So with this, I knew it was ritualistic. It was based on a deal. It was based on a bargain. After a while, I knew something. Well, I didn't know. So I knew that's what I'm trying to say. I knew something had to be fulfilled because with rituals, when something is broken, like it could be, the actions could be repetitive because it's broken. Or somebody has to pay. That's another thing. Somebody has to pay because the ritual is broken. So in a sense, you kind of get that, but not. Well, you do have that because Tabitha, whoever Tabitha and Jay was, um, when the original settlement happened, they're repeating. I mean, one thing while I'm thinking, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm gonna start with my notes, and my notes is going to start where Tabitha is telling Boyd about meeting up with the man in yellow. And this part irritated me because Tabitha did not tell him that the man in yellow said, "You're on the right path, but it depends on how you do it, because either you're going home or you just finna mess up everything." And looking by the trailer of episode 10, it looks like y'all finna mess up some stuff. I'm just so sorry. And again, it goes back to what I said. I knew that ritual, the ritual part, once it's not fulfilled, then, you know, that's where the problem comes through. You have this situation where Tabitha and Jay, they are, repeating. And then I even brought up the horror movie, um, Abandoned, where the lady in the movie was adopted. She was told to come to Russia about her father's estate. I think it was her father's estate. But come to find out, the lawyer who brought her over there was her dead father, and he was trying to complete, you know, having his family all together. I had to look back. I'm sorry. Um, by tricking them to come there. So she had a boy twin, a brother for a twin. He wanted to finish getting rid of the twins because he got rid of the mother, and then he even summons her daughter, his granddaughter, to come there so he, could get rid of her. And I'm like, dang, she can't live. Like, why you want the granddaughter? Like, you have your twins, you have your wife. You didn't even get a chance to see your twins live to be grown. Like, at the time he died, they were still babies, and I can't even remember how he died, but he died, and he was trying to fulfill having them all there because he was like an abusive father or something like that. But if you get a chance to watch The Abandoned, I think it was like 2010, 2008, 2008, 2008, I'm sorry. But that's sort of similar. He kept repeating how he ended them and all that stuff. And she was trying to find a way to break it, but she didn't get a chance to figure that out. But it was, and I know they're panicking, I know they're scared, I know all of that. But at the same time, panic is not going to help you. It's not going to, solve the issue. Um, it can make things worse, like he said. But she was wrong. She should have said the rest of what he said instead of giving half truths so she can make Boyd panic and Boyd's not thinking straight. Because, like, to me, and this is sad, the two rational minds to me, let me take that back. It's three rational minds to me. That's Boyd, that's Kenny, and that is Ethan. And right now, the only person keeping their cool is Kenny. Ethan is coming back, but from the trailer of episode 10, then he's going to lose it too because with the thunder, you know. But I had to touch on that because she should have said more, and this would have at least, I don't know. I don't know because the issue, I was about to say it would have gave them more time to try to plan something better and try to rationalize, but at the same time, would it, because they're not thinking straight, at all. So Tabitha's wrong. She's wrong. It's five left shoes. She's wrong. Next is Tabitha. No, 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 not Tabitha. Sophia. Let me put this right here so I don't want to turn my head. Sophia confronting Clara. People always, when I look on the internet, try to say there's a mole. And my daughter and I was going back and forth about that because of this episode. She was like, in a sense, they're right, but in a sense, I'm still not on that mole thing because to me, the mole is Sophia. Anytime the man in yellow portrays somebody else, that is the mole. When he portrays Sophia, when he portrays Father Kotri, because I think he's him. When he portrays Tom, he's him. He like he's the mole. When he who else? Abby, Father Kotri, Abby, Jim. Then on top of that, to me, what should be suspicious, he gets them down close enough, but then something is off about their speech, the way of talking. Like, I got suspicious too when Jake was at the bottle tree and Tom popped up and he was wiping that glass and he says a man does what he does. That doesn't sound like Tom, and especially we're talking about Tom told Jake that he was a college professor, if I remember correctly. So why would you like even him joking around? I wouldn't see him doing that. Something in one episode that was suspicious to me about Father Kotri talking to Boyd. What sealed the deal for me is when how he was talking to him in episode 7 about the wall. That was I was like, okay, that at first, if you watch one of my videos, at first I thought it was the monsters in the tunnel kind of channeling. But in a sense, I'm thinking that the man in yellow is either the person, like the first person who gave themselves up to the deal, and he's a higher power over the town people. He still probably was a town person, but he probably was the first one who made the deal with whatever made the deal with them. Because another reason why I'm saying that, if you remember the episode where Tabitha fell in the tunnels and Victor flashed a light on the wall and it was a yellow drawing, a red drawing with horns. So that could either be the man in yellow or it could be what all of them made their deal, but the man in yellow was the first one who made his deal with that red entity. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. So, um, I think I was wrong about that, about the little monster people projecting and portraying, the other ones. But Sophia's he's been the mold. Man in Yellow has always been the mold, but he's using people. And if you're gonna say Clara is the mold, the dude that let the monsters in when he was lonely in Colony House, you might as well say he's a mole too. And that's not my definition, because my definition of a mole, we really haven't seen anything she did to Savage so far. It's like, I'm talking about on a constant basis, because I forgot she just gave Fatima, the drink. But prior to that, we never seen anything that she did that would look suspicious. The thing about it is, with her, the dude that let the monsters in, the situation that everyone is in, and I said this in my post, no one can be trusted. No one, because you don't know who's gonna do what, when, where, you know, at any time. Would it make them a mole? I disagree with it, but it's whatever. My thing, a mole would be there to, like Randall was trying to figure out who was handling everything to make everybody scared and help the experiment. The mole would be helping, like she's doing now. Now she's a mole. But prior to that, she wouldn't be a mole, because we don't have any instance of whatever she did. We see now that she's sabotaging people. But before then, we had no clue of what she was doing. We just knew she was popping up everywhere, and she was, you know, irritating. But I knew something was up because she's a background character that's being presented. And then let's think about Dale. He's kind of a background character who's being presented. Like, when background characters become part of the main cast, there's an inkling that there's some importance to that story at that time. They're going to carry that story along some kind of way. Uh, Now, to me, the person to watch is the chick with the burn on her face. So she's the next person, because um Roger after Dale was the person watched because it always complain. He was another Dale to me. He was always complaining. Then he ended up being turned into a puppet monster. So I digress on that. I just had to touch on that base. Like it's the thing about it is when you watch television shows, you have to watch for clues um that carries you to the next story. So, her confronting Claire and this made me I think I didn't like Claire at first. Like most of the times I was happy when I didn't see her, and then I was wondering what happened to her. Even I didn't like her, I was wondering what happened to her when we didn't see her. But this made me not like Claire because why did you make a deal? Like why? Why? You did not go home instantly. It took like a year or two. I don't know when she got there. But I did write in my notes. I said I was going to say this to the end, but I'm going to say this right now. Did you make your deal that time you were riding on the bike coming around the corner from Colony House when Jade took your bike? Is that when you took your deal? Because let's say that's when you first got here. We're going to Four Seasons and you just now fake going home. You just now fake seeing Sophia or whatever form Sophia was in, the man in yellow was at that time. You're just not seeing that form. And then you're basically saying it's been so long, you didn't even think it was real. Like I don't this is the same thing with the people of the town. Like why did you take this deal when you got to sit up here and not be pretty and then wait for food to be trapped in the town and you look ugly when you change like and you know sometimes like back in the 80s you used to see like sexy vampires and then later they came up with the change it like ugh, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna complain. And then the other thing, I think Elgin, I was gonna wait on this because everybody is angry with Elgin. I am too. But at the same time, I have to say this. You can't expect anything out of somebody who had their eye poked out, had bones knocked out of their hands, and still told, what's that child? Julie, oh, I still think there's a plan here. I still think there's a purpose. And he even put a totem in Roger's back after Roger was changed. So how much expectation should we have for somebody like that, people? I like how much? Because I don't think we should have much. Yeah, we should be angry because it's like, come on, to me, this is how I feel. Like, come on, step up to the plate. Like, after you put that totem in Roger's back, come back to your senses, baby. Like, what are you doing? Like, none of that makes sense. But I digress. Like, and then I'm gonna wait. But I think Elgin thinks just because he sees a pretty face, they're innocent. He fell for that in the church when he was talking to Sarah. I think Sarah's cute. Don't get me wrong. But she just killed her brother. She tried to kill a kid and she opened the door for some monsters to kill another person. Then she killed Jade's. I'm sorry, you two, please. Like, I just she ended Jade's friend. I'm gonna try to touch this up. I'm gonna try to be a little kosher. She ended Jade's friend to make it look like the monsters came in. He thinks a pretty face is innocent. The only face that so far hasn't done too much that he's been in is Julie's. But he thinks every pretty face is innocent and they're not. And in that place, like you should still like I do not like Jiggly, but I like everybody is capable of anything in this town. I digress. I'm gonna keep going. So I already said that. So with the epinephrine shot, the allergy shot, the EpiPen. What do we think that's gonna do if her heart stops? And if her heart stops, is she what's gonna happen? Is she gonna be Fatima? And I forgot to say that, like when because I just started talking and I need to add a little context. So we're at the scene where what's her name? What's her name? Cause she got on my nerves. I'm glad she's back to who she was after this situation with Fatima. Marielle, no, not Marielle. Marielle's fiance. What's Marielle's fiance name? She's been there longer than Marielle. Oh my gosh, what is her name? Why I'm trying to call her Sarah is not Sarah. Okay, the Iron Maiden haircut. That's I'm gonna have to, and I like her, but she was ticking me off because I felt like she wasn't herself ever since Marielle got there because she was looking at her. She wasn't herself. Christy, um, we're at the scene where Christy and Marielle. Well, Christy is in the cabinet looking for the epic shot, and Marielle finds it for her. Okay, and she tells her, if her heart stops, they go over the procedure. But what happened? Like she is not well right now. What happens if her heart stops and you give her like you don't know what's going on with her. And then if we're thinking she's turning into a monster, how medicine is going to help them, you know? And then I seen something on Instagram where somebody said if Sam and Dean was there, they would have been figured this out. But we're dealing with people who do not, because my daughter was like, I agree with him. I was like, I stopped watching Supernatural like the first season because it did tap on the urban legends, and after it got off the urban legends, I just stopped watching it. But she was saying they would, you know, find out what's going on before the people of town Fromsville. I was about to say Townsville would find out, but we're dealing with people who, really don't know what's going on. And then, I was getting frustrated because this is Dragon, but I keep forgetting that, well, I'm not going to say I keep forgetting. I didn't take into account that this is a slow burner. And with it being a slow burner, telling the story may take longer. I just don't want it to burn out to the point where it doesn't make sense anymore, and it doesn't give you that adrenaline anymore of what's going on, you know. And to me, this is like The Walking Dead. You're gonna lose your favorite characters at times. Like they're holding. That's the thing I can say. They're holding on to the favorite characters, you know, very well. Um, before I say that, I'm gonna try to wait to the end because I don't want to say jump ahead too much. I want to jump ahead, but I don't want to jump ahead too much. Um, I wrote something there. I don't know what it was. What was it? Okay. So, Sophia taking Clara to the house where her and Sarah stays. That's crazy work because this is where you find out what's going on between those two. And when she picked up the knife, I was like, dang, what is she getting ready to do? But when they sat on the bed that and she said that the town was built on ritual, goes back to what I was saying about, saving the children basically, because to me I'm with Henry. Saving the children is not going to help. um how they're trying to do it does make a difference, because one of my stances were that Tabitha and Jade, well, I said Jade. Jade would have to sacrifice himself because of what the boy in white told Christopher. For some reason, there was an emphasis on whoever Jade was in these time periods and why he had to go in the tree. And then if he had to go to through the tree, where was the tree going to take him? Was the tree going to take him back in time to when the sacrifice actually happened? That's an interesting question because I just thought about that. But that was my stance because I thought it centered around Jade, whoever Jade was, and whenever Jade, was somebody, whoever Jade was at the settlement when he was a Christopher or the Civil War soldier, the guy who got hit by a boulder, whenever he was them, you know, what was my point? I forgot. Um, Maybe I'll remember in just a second. I don't think so, but uh, I felt like it stemmed from them. It was whoever he was at that point in time, they were supposed to do something that was never fulfilled, and that's how he was ended by the townspeople. And then whatever happened to Tabitha, because maybe it's supposed to happen in succession too. First is Jay, then it's Tabitha, and that might be the issue too. Okay, let me be quiet. So she tells um Clara that, and she also tells Clara that before then she tells Clara that when they go down in the tunnels things are not going to go the way they were because she asked uh did she not want them to find the bones, and um she cuts Clara's hand. She cuts her hand first, then she cuts Clara's hand, and they put their palms together, and ugh, that was nasty. Um, and then I really cannot stand Claire at this point. I really don't. We go to the scene of Boy Jade Kenny talking to Donna. Donna makes very good points in this scene because I'm gonna just jump to when they said that they were gonna use a talisman and tape it on the wall. Like, you do not know how that's gonna work. That's their thing. The houses is something else, you know, that may work in the houses, or because that's somebody else's. Like, you can't go in the tunnels where they're sleeping and thinking a talisman is gonna stop them from being where they live, you know. A RV that belongs to somebody else. Uh, I don't know about those houses and the diner and stuff, but that's not theirs. That's the point. So that's why the talisman is working there and wouldn't work in the tunnels. And she has a point because she said, okay, after that, do we just go get in our trucks and go home? And they're like, well, no, we don't know. And she's like, okay, you haven't. And this is why I said that Tabitha is wrong for not giving detailed information about what the man in yellow said, because you have just enough information. Even though they have had more information than they ever had before, right now you just have just enough and you still don't know what to do with it. So I agree in this scene. I agree with her because you're gonna get everybody hurt, and you know how Donna is about getting everybody hurt because she about had a fit after Tian Chen um got hurt, and she felt like boy should have left the cattle just go wander in the street. And then I wonder if he would have, would they just laughed and just started, getting rid of the cattle. And the cattle, y'all wake up in the morning, cattle just in the middle of the street. So it's like a win lose. No, that was a lose lose situation. It wasn't win lose. It wasn't a win win. It was just a jacked up situation. Um, After that, boy finds out about Fatima through Christy, and this is a shell shock to him because it's like, what do you do with that information? You don't know what to do. What I think he's wrong in is saying that, oh, we got to get her home, because how is that going to work? It's not like she's going to magically get better because she's at home. And not only that, if she still has, I'm going to say Smiley's residue, now she has Clara and the Man in Yellow's system in her system. That can draw, just Smiley and the Man in Yellow system can draw her back. And just think about it, because, and I hope I explain this. When Tabitha got to Maine and she had Henry, just a theory, I think her having Henry was the drawback for her. It could have been her getting into another accident driving her back there. It could have been anything, but I think that connection with Victor was the drawback. And I didn't think it was gonna I didn't think it was gonna let her stay in that realm because of the way the town is. So she got there, and there's no ritual that was done to, that's what I really want to say. There wasn't a ritual done to keep her from coming back. So that would be the same thing to me with Fatima, if they were able to go home. So we don't know what's, if she's going home or all of them. Well, if they are going home or not. But that's the issue, because just because by chance y'all might get home doesn't mean she's gonna stay there, or any of y'all gonna stay there. Any of them is gonna stay there if a ritual is not completed to keep them from going back, being drawn back. My daughter and I had a real good conversation about Henry. After the Men in Yellow put the blood into Henry's drink, Henry started having the same issues Abby had. That's the conclusion we came up to. And the what happened to my Care Bear on my bin? Gotta find my Care Bear. Okay, I gotta find my Care Bear. So, how did Abby get caught up? That's our question. So, if the Man in Yellow had access to Abby to put some blood into something that she consumed, how did how did he get access? Or was something else used different to make Abby flip out like Henry is flipping out? Like, that's the question I want to know. We both want to know. Like, do they recall anybody at the time that she shot everybody that was different, strange, um popped up inconspicuously, um popped up in a shady manner? Was it anybody that popped up that may have been questionable and got a hold of Abby for Abby to think the same thing, that it was? This is why I'm saying, like, there's questions that's being answered, but nobody's watching the answers because the same thing is being repeated. Okay. I don't think it's gonna be answered in episode 10. And from what I heard, it's gonna start back. They may start back filming like the end of this year or early 2027. So I'm curious. I am really curious if that's gonna be answered. And the other thing, oh no, I'm gonna wait. I'm going to wait. Um, and then when Henry had the is this his second vision? His second one. I think it was his second one of him and Victor sitting at the table, and he taps the bun to see the bun is real was funny to me. Hilarious. But I'm not saying this is possible, but I'm just saying not possible. Heck yeah, I'm saying this is not possible. To use that this man had an acid trip, and he's been in a coma for 40 years off of acid is kind of far fetched to me. It's just far fetched to me. But I know you can write anything you want when you write your own books and stories and movies and whatever you. But to me, that ought to let Henry know something's not right, because a 40-year-old coma over acid, I can see like a 2 week coma, maybe a 6 week coma, a 6 month coma. But a 40-year-old coma would be cancer, brain tumor, a car accident, something to that effect to me. And then sitting at that table, something else was said that I was like, come on now. Come on, come on, come on. But they did good because they used the situation where people said people been in comas and they heard doctor's name and they had like a whole, or maybe that was like let me tell you something. I said this before. I have watched a whole lot of stuff that I mixed stuff together. So it may be a movie, or I've seen science shows, science medical shows where they said that people, I have heard that they can hear in a coma. Don't get me wrong. But making whole scenarios, I think I heard that in like a medical drama or like investigation shows or educational shows. They did the thing with that, like had him thinking that he was just imagining Boyd, and the doctor's name is Boyd. Um, he made up Ethan. I'm like, okay. And the way he looked at Victor when he was like, when he said Ethan, like, why would I make that up? That's the way it came across to me. But hey, that's the way it came across to me. But it was funny how he looked up at him. But she said it was a dream. Was she having the same visions? Um, what else was she having the same visions? Um, I can't get it out because I want to know how did it originate for her. Okay, so did she have the same visions? Did she have the same issue with blood was dropped in her stuff? So that's a question that I have. And after he hit the plate of cookies that Patricia gave him, that interaction with him and Victor, that kind of bugged me because it's like he gave Victor a look like this is all your fault. And it seems like he seesaws on that. And there's nothing he can, because if you want to blame somebody, blame your reincarnated wife, if anything. But anyway, uh, it's like he blamed him, and then it's like it was a little, don't want to say pushback, because I don't know, pushback would be the right word, because what I'm trying to say is like he wanted him to get away from him because he didn't want to think of harming him. And I can understand that. Like, I feel like he has mixed emotions right now, and he really would not want that to be real, and that's understandable. Um, Next, my note is talking about how suspicious the talk is when the man in yellow is Tom and Father Cartree and all that. Um, Another thing, when he has these visions, when he had this last vision, and Victor told him that, oh, Eloise is on the plane coming here. She's a teacher. What would Eloise look like if he's not dreaming, If he's in a coma and this is real life where him and Victor and his grandson is in this group assisted living, I want to see what Eloise look like. And I've been hearing the chatter talking about Clara is Eloise. I don't think that. And then on top of that, with people talking about some Eloise is story walking just like Julie, I don't agree with that either, because of the simple fact nothing is showing that they can story walk out of the realm that they are in. They can only story walk in, I mean, nothing shows that. Did I say that right? I'm gonna say it again just in case I didn't say it right. Nothing shows in the story that they can story walk out of the realm that they are in. It only shows that they can story walk in the realm that they are in. And then on top of, yeah, I'm not gonna touch that anymore because I know some people have tried to rationalize that. I told y'all I've been watching people's. I told you that I've been watching people's theories, and some of the stuff I like. The majority of the things I've heard, I don't agree with. Um, it's very few. It was one guy. He said something that was right on point. One, it was a couple. One, that the clues are there that nobody's really paying attention, and the reason why, one of the reasons I think is because people are holding on to loss. They're not looking at the story objectively in its own story, even though they have people have said, well, they went back in time and lost, which is cool. People have their signature way of writing, so that that happens. But I'm gonna get off that and keep going. um I'm gonna bring this up again. The problem is in from with the people of the town, they don't know how to handle what's going on. They only thought their issue was the monsters in the tunnels, but they didn't know it was much more than that. They didn't really start getting introduced to the partial full problem until Tian Chen died. Tian Chen was no longer with us in this equation. And Kenny and Jim were at the settlement. Kenny told Boyd that there's something else out there. Boyd and Sarah experienced something different, but it still didn't hit them. Like Boyd was, man, it's a tree that takes you. We had spiders and we seen lighthouse and this boy in white. And also, Boyd did have an inkling, but still, with all the activities that goes on there, they can't keep account. They need to draw pictures like Victor. Um, think about when the bus came and the chick with the rod in her head. Boy flipped out, start comparing the names of the couple to somebody um he was in the military with. Okay, I'm here. So he had a wild connection then, but still with the activities, they don't keep up with everything. They keep, they get in this box of, oh, we got to worry about the monsters that come out at night. And they really don't like think past go on what's really going on. Um and then I put down, what I said earlier about boys saying, "Oh, we have to get her home, then it wouldn't be an issue," but that's not true because it'll still be an issue even if you get her home and things are not like, you're not closing the gap on what's going on, and they can't close the gap because they don't know how to handle what's going on. um Claire, rough, going back to her, putting her little nasty hepatitis blood in this water and giving it to Fatima. I'm gonna try to save what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna try to save it. I'm gonna try to save it, but I want to bust. Like, I really want. She gives it to Fatima, and I was hoping she didn't drink it, but she was like, "Oh, you have to drink it now, or it won't work." You tramp skeezer, and then you want to walk out the doggone medical building crying. You didn't care. Ooh, I'm trying to save it. You selfish little heifer. Victor talking to his sister and his mother, um, in a state of confusion because of how his dad's acting and he doesn't know how to handle what's going on. And the boy in white is showing up. Um, him trying to tell Victor to stop. I don't know if that's a trap or, you know, it could be a real issue. When he first told him that, we I think he knew that people are never gonna like really figure their place out to a T, and that tree, that faraway tree, could either be an escape for someone or a trap. Now I don't know if he did that because he knew Victor was gonna. They weren't going to believe Victor, and it was a possibility that boy was gonna lock Victor up, or um it can really crawl. You know what? I'll take that back. It must be an issue because I was getting ready to say the man in yellow might know that they're trying to take that tree down, and he wants them to because he knows it's going to open a floodgate. Because he did give Tabitha a warning: you're either going to go home or you're going to open basically a floodgate. So I'm gonna leave that there. I know everybody's getting angry with the boy in yellow, but at this point, I'm sorry, I don't think I ever trusted him in the first place. But I don't know what his until it comes out. I don't know what his intentions are. So I'm not gonna touch the boy in white, the boy in yellow white, because I think he's him too. And I think somebody said, because I think my daughter was. I'm gonna try to remember this verbatim. She showed me a Reddit post where they said in episode 10, we're gonna lose Donna, and then the boy in white is gonna be revealed as the man in white. I think I need to get on Reddit. I really do, cause like it seems like there's some nuggets on there, and people theorize a little bit better. Because that one that I didn't put the picture up correctly about someone saying that um Victor might have remembered Julie. That's why he was more comfortable with her more than anybody who has come there, which was a good theory. That was a good theory. Um the Victor and the boy in white, when he told him, what are you doing here? Like, you're interrupting my private conversation with my mother and my sister's grave, was kind of funny to me. But hey, Victor wasn't having it. The boy talk, boy gets on my nerves with his little thing, and this is just me. Nobody has to agree with me. Boy, this is the second time he had a issue with the Most High about what goes on there. And I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what to say about that. But at the same time, I'm not gonna touch that. I was about to say, you know what? He shouldn't expect the Lord to be there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Um, him asking Sarah about Fatima is not gonna give him reassurance. It's not going to uh resolve any guilt or doubt that he has, because they told her that you guys weren't going to get her in time. Not that she was going to be okay, because the main purpose was for her to give birth to Smiley. And that happened. And the thing about it is, if Fatima at that time would have asked them to kill her, to ugh, to end everything, to prevent her from having a Smiley, would they, if she knew that this was let's put it out there like that, if she knew that that was the issue, or she knew that something was inside her and something was wrong, if she would have said, hey, something is so wrong to the point I think you guys should end me, would they have done it? Because that might have been the only way to keep Smiley from being born. Because with him being born, that started a domino effect of bad situations. So the issue wasn't that she was safe. The issue was she was able to carry, thanks to Elgin, Smiley to term. So that is another thing they're forgetting. With everything going, they're forgetting what happened, what was said. Sarah could not confirm anything. She in the same boat you in, boy. She's in the same boat. So sorry. Tabitha having the epiphany that she should go in the tunnels. I'm glad she did. I'm sick of Tabitha too. I'm just so sorry. Just like I was sick of her husband. I'm just so sorry. I want to know how that's going to turn out because, as I said earlier, my theory at first was Jay, then Tabitha. So let's see what's going to happen. Um, Ethan had a point after the table talk that town, and I said this in my earlier videos, that the point is to keep them scared so they don't find really a resolution of how to get home. So he's right. It makes them scared so they wouldn't think straight. It makes them scared so they can make rash decisions like thinking you can fall in love with one of the monsters or make a deal and not go home until 3 seasons later and you're still not gonna go home. But it is there to push the limit. It's a social experiment, but it's not a government social experiment. It's a social experiment so they can push you and make sure that they have food to eat. So that's the way I see it on that end. Um my notes after that, excuse me. Pardon me. Let me get my other paper out. Hello, Moto. Somebody else had a theory on the talisman. Um he said it's 8 children, but when they pointed at Tabitha, I counted 7. And somebody tried to theorize that the boy in white is Tabitha and Jay's son. But if you recall at the tree, at the bottle tree, the girl that knelt down in front of Tabitha, they said she was our daughter. So it could be based on that person's theory, since it is 8 markings. If there's 8 kids, the boy in white could be one. If he's not the man in yellow, he could be one of the kids that was saved. We won't find out until Sunday night if the boy in white is truly the man in yellow. Let me go back to the talk at the table because Julie, just because you got tricked, and I don't think you really got tricked, you just didn't use what you could do properly. You want to downplay what your mother said. I do want this question asked because at this table, this is where she finds out that the man in yellow ended Jim. So, is she gonna make it past episode 10? Because remember, she story walked to that time period where Jim and the man in yellow were. So I do want to know that. Secondly, When she said she seen the man in yellow, that look on Ethan's face, like what? Like what are you doing? And her thinking, excuse me, I burped, that the answers are gonna come right then and there. That's not how anything works. Like in life in general, because um if you knew how your day was gonna start some tomorrow, some people would be happy or mad. Like that's not how life works in general. She kind of get on my nerves because you're questioning something and thinking it's supposed to give you answers, and I think she is scared to everybody's scared, but I do agree with her about stop giving it the town what it wants, that place what it wants, but like you need to figure out what you're giving that's not the right thing because she doesn't either. Okay. Let's see. Us marking on the rock. Sophia is not helpful at all. She walks up to Boyd, telling him she's going to go help with the ladder, and then she's like, "Oh, good night, sheriff." Like that was weird to me too because she said it in such an endearing way that she adores Boyd, uh, as though that her and Boyd hangs out, or she would like to hang out with Boyd in another lifetime or something. So, I can't stand her. I cannot stand her at all. Um, why people haven't been suspicious of Sophia at this point is a killer to me. And somebody made an Instagram post where they were talking about how she acts when she's trying to be suspicious. Um, Nobody called her smiling neither, because if you like pay attention, soon as she gets time away from somebody, she is smiling her butt off after she does her evil deeds. When she goes to the thing, the diner, and she's pushing the buttons on the jukebox, and Bata tells her that it doesn't work, and she's still like pushing on it, and it works. And Bata asks her, how did you do that?" And she's like, "Do what?" And you just shake your head. That thing just magically, deliciously just plays on its own, and she just pushing buttons, and it's yeah. I don't like. I've been side eyeing her after that. It's too late because some stuff is getting ready to happen, but I would have side eyed her. And then her giving the monsters under the tunnels information to the point where they knew to come to the diner to distract them so she can cut the rope is diabolical. That is diabolical. It's kind of funny to me too, but you know maybe I shouldn't laugh too hard. It's like she's playing them, and at the same time nobody is looking at her. Nobody is looking at her at all, at all. And I granted, nobody has looked at anybody before. Like, let's take that back. Only Jim and Nathan. What's his name? Nathan. Nathan looked at. We're gonna call him Nathan, bald head boy. They looked at people crazy, but nobody else since then has looked at somebody like. I digress. It's kind of getting on my nerves that nobody is paying her any attention. Um, is Boy coming back for season 5? Because I'm asking this question because he told Kenny to stay back, and he just in case something happens and he's no longer there, he has to take the reins and help Donna run the place. So I kind of got suspicious one time when he was like, even Boyd is on the chopping block. I think that was season 3. But that's the question to ask, because I know I just said that my daughter showed me a Reddit that we know we're gonna lose Donna, but are we gonna lose Boyd? And then if so, then if Boyd is gonna be back, we're gonna have what, Kenny at the colony house and Boyd at the town. Let's see. Um, I still don't think whoever Tabitha and Jade were were really trying to save the kids. At this point, I'm going to repeat this. I think they were the adult sacrifice of the thing. Why they needed two adult sacrifices, I don't know. I don't do that stuff. I'm just saying, I've been watching horror movies for a long time. In movies, I think they were the two adult sacrifices when they found out they had to go. Then all of a sudden, they were caring about the kids. Because let's think about it, they were trying to sacrifice their daughter at first, and then all of a sudden, something became a problem. So that's the way I view it. Um, when Tabitha and Jay pack up at Colony House to go in the tunnels, again, Clara, meet me outside. How about that? You sitting up here watching these folks. You sitting up here watching this woman pack up, leave her kids, and then you know it's not gonna work out well. You didn't shed not one tear. You tried to make it look like you did, but you just looking like it's nobody business. You didn't even care. So, um, when they're getting ready to leave, I didn't know Ethan, because I had to watch this like 2 or 3 times. I didn't know Ethan had told well, he had asked Jade how were the bones going to protect them, and he's like, well, that's just the way it works. I don't believe that. I don't think these kids are like doing, I don't think they have powers. And then or any, yeah, I don't think they have powers. And it might be a possibility that the man in yellow may be projecting their images to them. Who knows at this point? We have to wait on 10, episode 10. Um, because another thing Donna was right about, that everybody was putting too much stock into Jay's acid trip. There's some truth in there, but there's some padding in there too. It's not telling the whole truth. It's telling some truth. It's not telling the whole truth. Um, Clara going back and snitching that everybody didn't go down there just Tabitha and Jay. I want to touch back on um I think I said this in one of my videos. If I haven't, this will be the first time I bring it up. But I think I did when Victor tripped out and was throwing all the stuff out. Um I had a theory, like, was that something that kept the man in yellow from attacking Victor? And um when Clara goes to um snitch, you know, Sophia's sitting up there looking at all the stuff. And then I thought about it again, and I think my daughter seen something on Reddit that the boy in white told, oh, excuse me, Victor to keep the stuff. So basically, he couldn't turn into whoever died in there, because when Dum Dum comes with the picture of Sophia from 1972 and show it to, and then somebody showed in Reddit where that's another reason I'm wondering, is Julie gonna make it, because she was in the Polaroid in the corner talking to Sophia. So um what was I going to say? So since Dum Dum comes with the Polaroid showing the image of Sophia, I'm gonna just automatically assume that he took her dress for him and her shoes and all of that to turn into her. And then the teeth also help. So if he needs the teeth or possession to turn into take the image of whoever died, what did he take of Father Cautry's? What did he take of Abby's? What did he take of Tom's? And who else? Father Cautry, Jim. And then he was right there with Jim, so you know he had to take. Like, to me, that is confirmed. That is a comfort. Oh my gosh, my cat pooped in the back. Oh, that's confirmed confirmation that he took something from Jim to be Jim. The only issue I had is when he turned into Jim, he kept looking back and forth. Why was he worried about them seeing him as Jim? What would have been the issue? I am wondering that. um I wonder what is going to be um Elgin's fate since he went and snitched on. Why didn't he take it to Boyd? Why didn't he just walk out? Then I'm thinking Sophia is going to use him just like she uses Clara. Like he's gonna she him gonna use him to do something. I don't think she's gonna kill Elgin right off the bat. She's gonna use him for something before she destroys him. And Clara trifling is I don't know what to lock the door on when she asks. And then on top of that, you gonna sit up there and snitch and ask, "Are you still gonna?" That's what I was trying to wait on. You selfish dingbat. You gonna sit up there and ask, "Are you still gonna be the only one that goes home?" You know what? You trifling. She is trifling as I don't know what. But I'm gonna end this. Like, click, subscribe, hype this video up. I know we're going getting to Sunday night with this. I tried to put one out for 9. I wasn't, but I'm gonna just go ahead because I'll try to get my little theories out since everybody has theories. Put your thoughts, hype this video up. Tell me what you think of this episode, what you think is going to happen Sunday night on the finale. Love to hear it. Good night, and thank you for watching. If you watched, good night.